Hello, so in this video we're going to look at what problems do pollutants cause. Now please make sure your phone is off so as not to distract you, you've not got the TV on or music on in the background, and you're not playing any games and you have your pen and paper or notebook to take notes. Now please pause the video when you see this yellow banner to complete the tasks. So looking at what problems do pollutants cause, we're going to look at a few different pollutants and the issues they cause. Now, burning fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide. We know that because we have the carbon in the fossil fuels reacting with oxygen, forming carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is one of our major greenhouse gases. Now, fossil fuels also contain some sulfur. Sulfur reacts with oxygen under combustion to form sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide then mixes with rainwater in the atmosphere, so with clouds in the atmosphere, to form acid rain. Acid rain can damage buildings, statues, and natural habitats such as trees and lakes by making those trees and lakes. It can kill the trees, and for the lakes it will make the water in it acidic, which means it's not safe for wildlife to live in there, so fish will often die in high areas of acid rainfall. Got a picture here showing the effect of acid rain on a statue. So the picture on the left is prior to acid rain, the picture on the right is after acid rain. You can see it's wearing down a lot of the rock, so we can't tell what it is anymore particularly well. So car engines, most families have a car, most people have been in a car, and we know we can have either petrol or diesel engines. And to work, they will combust the fuel in the engine, which drives the motor. If there's not enough oxygen within that engine, carbon monoxide is formed instead of carbon dioxide. That is because we have carbon plus oxygen will ideally make carbon dioxide. If we don't have enough oxygen for all of the carbon, we will get it forming carbon monoxide instead. And obviously we can balance that. I want to have twice as much carbon as oxygen, we'll get just carbon monoxide end up forming. Now, carbon monoxide is toxic and can kill even in small volumes. The reason why is that carbon monoxide binds with the hemoglobin in our blood instead of oxygen. We can't get the oxygen to bind to the hemoglobin, we cannot transport it around the body for respiration. So it takes a very small amount of carbon monoxide to kill people. And we can fix this using something called a catalytic converter. So catalytic converters will convert that carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide and some water as well. Carbon dioxide is obviously bad for the environment, however it is not as bad for our health. Therefore, that is one of the reasons why we have catalytic converters. If you think back to rates of reaction, remember that a catalytic converter just contains a catalyst that speeds up that reaction of carbon monoxide turning into carbon dioxide and water. Little warning sign there saying carbon monoxide is dangerous. It's toxic, that skull and crossbones telling us it is dangerous. Within cars, when the engine is running, we get a very, very high temperature. We get a high temperature so that we can combust that fuel. We have oxygen and nitrogen will be inside the car engine as well, just as part of the air that is in there. Under that high temperature, we can get oxygen and nitrogen reacting together to form nitrogen oxides. You'll notice here that we've got NOx. This is our notation for nitrogen oxide. We can have different forms of it. So we can have NO, NO2, can have NO3 and N2O3, N2O5 as well. We can get different versions of it. We write them all as just NOx is our standard writing form for nitrogen oxides. This encompasses all of them. And nitrogen oxides are acidic as well. They can contribute to acid rain as well, just as with sulfur dioxide. They're also a trigger of asthma, so they can cause asthma and various other health conditions as well. It's estimated that about 50% of the Western population live in areas where nitrogen oxide levels are above a safe level. In the UK, southeast London has the highest level of nitrogen oxides and can cause severe health problems. We have there just a little reminder that cars will produce NOx emissions, so nitrogen oxide emissions. We also have diesel cars, so two different types of engines, or two main different types of engines. We have petrol and diesel cars. Now diesel cars use diesel fuel as opposed to petrol, and diesel has larger hydrocarbon molecules. So the hydrocarbon molecules are longer than the petrol fuel. And diesel is not always completely combusted, especially if the temperature does not get high enough, so on short journeys. Those particles are sometimes so large they are emitted in the exhaust, and they are called particulates. Particulates contribute to a situation called global dimming, which is where the sunlight getting through is reduced. We've been measuring the levels of global dimming since the 1950s, so looking at how much sunlight is coming through from the sun to the earth, and have found since the 1950s it's decreased all over the world, but between 4 and 20%. So we have decreased by 4 to 20% since the 1950s. This is particularly bad because we need the sunlight for photosynthesis for plants to help take up some of that carbon. You can see in the picture here we've got an example of global dimming. So the large numbers of particulates in the atmosphere contribute to this smog effect, which makes places darker and stops as much sunlight getting through. We now have some questions for you, so please pause the video to answer these questions. When you are ready, you can move on. You should now have answered these first questions. Ready to mark your answers. Well done if you got them all correct. We now have a final 2 questions for you to answer. Please pause the video to answer these questions. The answers will appear on screen now. Well done if you got them all correct. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it has been informative. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much and have a good day.